Welcome in everyone to Barely Educated. We are here to talk post-game. Bears Titans week 1. The
Bears.
first game of the Caleb Williams era, and the Bears win a very, very Bears game. 24 to 17 on the lake. It was shades to me a little bit of the Denny Green, the Bears are who we thought they were game.
Mm-hmm.
Little bit. Maybe that bodes well for the future of the defensive play. But yeah, it was ugly. Chris, as always, it's good to see you.
You too.
Glad you have survived whatever we just witnessed. Bears are 1-0, so I guess that makes us good. I don't really feel all that good.
No, I don't either. I feel icky. I
I
feel
feel icky.
icky. Oh, so icky.
Oh, so icky.
Mm-hmm. It's fun.
Oh man.
My Wheaton buddy Brian, uh, sent me the exact same Denny Green thoughts after the game. So
It's funny.
probably resonates with a lot of Bears fans who were around 18 years ago for that. So
I think
I
it's gonna get mentioned a good bit this week.
probably. I only saw the first half live. The second half, I had my youth symphony rehearsal, which is going to interrupt a lot of noon games for me, unfortunately. So I signed off with you guys in our text chat,
You got
and
the worst of this game then.
yes, I did. And I turned my phone on after rehearsal, and I see, oh, 2 minute warning, Bears 24, Titans 17, which was my predicted score, by the way, if you remember from the pregame show.
We both had the
Oh, we
24 right.
did. We got both had the 24 right. Yeah.
Just like we
Um,
thought too, with a defensive touchdown and a special teams touchdown and a pathetic display by the
oh my
offense, and somehow
gosh.
24 points.
Yeah. So
No, no, we didn't
obviously,
think that. That's why this is hard to feel good about.
yeah. So obviously, I was ecstatic to see that they won, and I thought, oh, I guess maybe Caleb finally got the offense clicking, right? And right, and got the
Oh
ball
my gosh.
moving,
Yeah.
and then I, go through the game thread, and oh no, there was a punt return, which is great. Shout out to Mr. Simone Biles and
And Daniel
pick
Hardy,
six. Yes,
of
yes, yes.
course.
And a pick six. So those are great. But then looking at the offense's final numbers, good golly, they're worse than Getsy.
It was dreadfully bad.
Feel it's
It
just like
was. It was. And there's reasons, but it was dreadfully bad. And I want us to try to have like a little structure with these post games. I mean, part of
that's
it's
a good
fun to
idea.
just rant and rage and get it out of our system. But I also want to make sure like we cover certain things and we try to do the game some justice. So I want us to do like game balls first.
Okay.
Then, when we win, that'll be a fun section. And when we have an offense, it'll even be more fun. Then like what we learned, which is kind of like neutral maybe. Areas of encouragement, another nicer try to like find the positive. And then the rants about the areas of concern. Because I feel like otherwise, I know I'm just gonna rage out about the areas of concern. And I'm
I
very
hear you.
disappointed in myself for I have lost Bear's enlightenment.
Didn't take long.
I well, no, I went into the game, I'd already lost it because I was like, oh, I'm excited about the Bears. I hope they're oh no. No, I'm
Yeah.
supposed to know better.
Now it's
I did
back.
know better. It's all my fault. So once again, we have to recapture that in the coming
Yes.
weeks, but we're not there yet. I'm gonna have to enter some sort of meditative state to get back to my Bears enlightenment. But so let's try that structure and just see how it goes. Maybe
Sounds good.
some feedback from people who are listening would be great.
Yes, please give us feedback. We
I
would
think there's a
appreciate that.
couple obvious answers here. Let's say we each give out two game balls.
Okay.
Hopefully, most weeks that'll be one on offense, one on defense, but screw that. I'm going defense and special teams.
Sounds good.
My game balls go to Daniel Hardy for the block on the punt return that saved the game because they were dead in the water and they all of a sudden looked like they had a spark of life after that. Also, great job on the return, but
Yep.
I want to give it to the guy that gets the block because I think he's the one that's not going to get as much press.
True. Yep.
And
Not
then
as flashy,
so that's
right?
my special teams one. And then on
Okay.
defense, I'm gonna give it to Daryl Taylor. Just
Ooh.
acquired, had 2 sacks. I think one of them was the strip sack.
I think you're right.
He was flying off that edge. Now he's looping around. I feel like somebody's going to take advantage of that with a real nasty draw one of these weeks with this on tape. But that guy played with his hair on fire, and I was kind of like, we really traded for the guy that has the hilarious late hit on Goff when Goff doesn't have the ball and then celebrates, which didn't seem like the smartest football play I've ever seen. But man, he had a great game today. If he's really going to be productive as the second edge, that defensive line looks a lot better. And let's also just preface everything with let's not overreact to week one. But still, it was a
True.
game to talk about. It's fun to have football to talk about. Daryl Taylor should get some love for
I
I thought
like
a
it.
very good game opposite Montez. And that's what you want the guy doing who's getting the single cover, single block, single just a tackle, one-on-ones. Beat your guy often enough to be noticeable out there.
Hmm.
Who do you got?
I've got Tyreek Stevenson for the pick six.
I figured you might if I
Um,
took Taylor. Yep.
yeah, I had a backup.
Obviously, that's the game.
Yes. Yeah, and what was Levis thinking, man? When I saw the
Honestly, we
replay
should
finally.
give the game ball to Will Levis because Will Levis in the second half is the only reason that comeback's even possible.
He had the. Was it you that texted that he had the? He bet the Bears, Levis. Because
Yeah, I
oh
said he
my
bet the Bears.
gosh.
When he was
Yeah.
coming out, I said, yeah, he's got the look, he's got all the like arm talent, but he just does the dumbest stuff
Yeah.
because we get a lot of Kentucky games being here. And I was
Yeah.
just like, I wouldn't touch this guy in a million years in the NFL. And he just put it all out there for us. It was like he was validating the take for me. It was really funny. I mean, that
Yeah.
interception is one of the dumbest plays I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You see,
But
Demarcus Walker tweeted pictures of Will Levis on his knees with his hands
yeah,
behind his
yeah,
head,
going,
and he's like,
oh
"Next
no.
time, take the sack, kiddo," or
Yep.
something.
Yeah, he'll learn, I guess. So
Beyond the
yes.
obvious, you should never throw that. I want to break down one other thing about how dumb that was.
Hmm.
They don't care about the yards as much as anything. Their offense is stonewalled. Our offense is stonewalled. Take the sack, run the clock. That has more value than the loss of yards in the sack. They don't really have that big of a need for the first down. Yeah, I know they'd give the Bears back with a chance for the Bears to take the lead, but they weren't going to.
Not
Just
based
handed
on
the
anything
Bears.
we had seen.
So
Um,
yeah, Tyreek. Who else?
I want to give my other game ball to old reliable Cairo Santos. The guy
Nice,
just
good
came
call.
in, kicked his field goals, kept them in the game, 3 for 3, right, on field goals,
Yep.
and extra point. He didn't have to get one with the 2 point, but I'll just give him a little love for his consistency. I know we were a little nervous in the preseason, like, or some people
Yeah,
were.
he was money today, and you know, having a kicker that you're not that worked up about inside 50, pretty much money is really nice. I know he'll miss one or two, but it's pretty rare. And they needed every point they could get there today, even though I know they ended up winning by 7. You kind of thought they were just going to keep chipping away and chipping away,
Yeah, I
but then they got the big pick six.
almost gave it to Jalen Johnson. I mean, he sealed the game with the interception, but he was pretty solid all day and showing
He's
that he's
great, man.
one of the
He's
best
great.
corners in the league. Maybe the best, but definitely one of
And
them.
I saw some people talking about Tyreek having a bad day before the pick, and I'm like, I mean, he got beat a couple times by Ridley, but he's a legitimately decent to good if he bounces back from the whole year off thing this year, because last year was his first year after the suspension.
Mm,
It's like, I mean, giving up a few yards, a few catches to Calvin Ridley doesn't like mean your day was terrible.
mm.
I thought the corners were great. The secondary was as advertised, except for that one drive with the run fits. That was
Yeah,
brutal.
yeah. I do want to talk about that drive a little bit. We'll get there, but yeah.
And then Stevenson slipped on the TD to the tight end.
Mm.
But I mean, he slipped. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to watch the all 22 to make sure that's what that was. But he was right there. Then he kind of like fell weird, and then the ball was there, and you're like, oh, how did he not catch that? I
Mm-hmm.
think it's because he slipped. So
Yeah.
it's like if the coverage is good, but you slip. I mean, I don't really call
It's
that like your fault.
it's
So I thought he
probably
played pretty well, but
it's probably a case of, oh, they got a touchdown. Who's the defender there? Stevenson. Oh, boo, Stevenson. He had a bad game. It's probably something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
exactly.
you know.
Okay, another thought that just occurs to me as we're going, we should the I don't know. I don't know if I want to make it a bit yet, but like something to reflect the absolute clunker performance of the days. But I just don't want to be negative. But my gosh, Chris, Why can't the Bears get a center? Why doesn't Ryan Poles care about getting the Bears a center? I thought Coleman Shelton coming from the Rams would be like better than this. Maybe it was just goofy week one stuff, but he stunk.
Yeah, the whole
The
interior
play where
was.
he goes, I don't know if you were gone yet by then. There's a play where they're already double teaming Simmons to Shelton's right. So Davis and Darnell Wright have it covered. He's doubled. And he goes over and just like pushes him a little bit for like a triple team, which frees up the stunning linebacker or the linebacker on a delayed blitz. I can't remember whoever it was. Just comes right through because he moved over stupidly and then tries to do like a one arm block. Like, you're not going to block anybody in the NFL like that. Like, what are you doing? He's already doubled. Just do your job.
Yeah.
He opened up the hole for the guy to sack Williams. It was like not. It was almost Mustafa Dancing Bear levels of bad. And Tevin Jenkins had a terrible game.
He
I
did.
know Simmons and Sweat are good. They're probably going to give a lot of teams trouble, but the interior of the O line got whooped today.
Yes, they did.
You hope it's the quality of the opponent, but that was the spot on the team that we talked about, at least on the offense, being the
Yep.
problem. We had the guys in and out the whole preseason in camp, and they were mixing and matching pieces there, except for Jenkins. And then you come out and you basically they were so bad they maybe could be said to have derailed the whole offense.
That's what it looked like. The whole thing was out of sync. The whole thing. Not just Caleb, not just the running game. Nothing looked right. I
And
think
Keenan Allen isn't very good.
Tevin's best play was falling on the ball after that weird, uh, like bounced off the defender, and then Odunze caught it, but then Odunze fumbled it,
Yeah, it was
and
a crazy
then,
play.
then Jenkins fell on it. That was his best contribution today. Was falling on the fumble. Did Nate Davis ever come back in? He got pulled when I was.
They appeared to be rotating Davis and Bates.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so that's one of the problems with doing this the day of the game, right? Which is fine.
Mm.
It works for our schedule. But we don't get like all the snap counts and some of the data tomorrow that really helps you contextualize the game. But also half the fun is the emotional
It is, I
reaction
was gonna
too.
say you get the raw
But
emotion this way, dear
yeah,
listener.
but that was just there is no way anybody watching that game came away from it as a Bears fan thinking, O-line's fine. Jones was okay. I didn't really notice Braxton Jones screwing up too much.
No, he
That's
might
the
have
bar.
been.
Don't screw up too much. Bears line, let's go.
He might have been the best guy on the
Chris
line today
Caleb
because
Williams. Yeah.
Wright, made a few whiffs today. That he was
Yeah,
disappointing.
Wright had one
Darnell
of his
Wright.
worst games. At
Mm-hmm.
least the theoretically healthy version of Wright, like because he had a couple where he's hurt last year that weren't as good, and you're like, well, he's playing hurt. So,
Okay, all right.
yeah, but I'm agreeing with you. Like, this is one of his worst games where we
Mm-hmm.
don't have anything that we're aware of, maybe explaining it. So I just hope
Yeah.
that's not. So I think what we learned is the defense is still pretty darn good, but the quarterback of the other team bailed them out. They had the one really bad defensive drive where they were running all over them, and then they adjusted to that. I do think
I
we
did.
learned that the halftime adjustments are effective on that side of the ball. Remember, new coach on the Titans, so we didn't know what they were going to be doing really. They
Mm-hmm.
took
Mm-hmm.
that away. Bears like,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. We're
And
not letting that happen again.
and we saw that last year with Eberflus, some good second half adjustments. So to his credit,
On that
but
side of the ball.
just want to come out better at first, especially week one.
And then
Yeah.
I think we learned that despite our excitement and enthusiasm for Caleb Williams and all the boxes that he checks as a potentially franchise altering quarterback, the rookie factor still loomed large.
Yep. And we,
I
we
thought he
knew it
stunk,
would.
Chris. He stunk,
He did. He
but
did
he didn't
stink.
stink as badly as the guy opposite him.
That is true. And if you look at Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix today, neither one of them really lit it up either. They both ran in a touchdown or two, but
Tough day for young QBs
yep,
all
yep.
around.
It's just the
Jaden
reality
Daniels
with
easily
rookie.
had the best game. Like if you were to rank them, it would be Jaden Daniels and then a bit of a drop, and then everybody kind of stunk. But he wasn't great. He was just like,
No,
I don't know, okay. They got
he.
blown out. They got a junk time touchdown. It's hard to say if that really
Yep.
means anything when they're already down 20. Caleb Williams, 14 to 29, ugh, 93 yards,
Oh,
3.2 average. Bleh.
that's dreadful. But
And 5 carries for 15 yards. I mean, he stunk. I'm sorry, he did. He got a lot of passes batted at the line of scrimmage. I don't know what's up with that. I need to
That,
figure that
my
one out.
friend,
And his receivers stunk, which I did not see coming.
yes, yeah. If we about the passes getting blocked, is that a new to the league thing or is that a 6 foot thing?
I think
Like,
it's both.
okay, do we need to be
Plenty of
concerned
guys
about that?
succeeded at that height. Well, you just got to find the lanes.
Okay, so mostly just
He had
first game
happy
in the league.
feet. I thought he was really jittery in the pocket. I don't
Yeah,
care what he says about he's not nervous.
I was just
He
saying,
looked nervous.
what about that? I never get
Or too
nervous
amped,
thing.
whatever that was, it was there. Keenan
Overthrowing
Allen,
guys.
11 targets, 4 catches. Meh.
Oh,
Dropped a touchdown in the end zone.
dropped a
The whole
touchdown.
operation sucked.
Yep.
I'm not going to clown on Caleb only here. I
Hmm.
love Caleb. I still think he's the goods. My point is that's how bad the whole offense was. I thought it was maddening that Shane Waldron seemed to slow things down right when Caleb got in a rhythm in the second quarter, and he seemed annoyed by it.
Mm.
Just a very uneven game all around for the offense. Credit the Titans. The D tackles, like we feared, did dominate the game more
Hmm.
than I even thought they would. And it's a good thing Will Levis was on the other side. Now, reasons for encouragement.
Okay.
We got reasons for encouragement and concern, right?
Hmm.
Encouragement. In the fourth quarter, in an otherwise very similar to Justin Fields' stat line, Caleb Williams did not turn the ball over or take a sack.
That's
Will
very good.
Levis turned the ball over at least twice in the fourth, and was the fumble in the third. Either way,
Mm.
when the game was on the line, the Bears quarterback was not the one who gave the other team the win. Now that is a very low bar. I'm not happy about that bar. I do not want that to be something we talk about. And I do not think this offensive performance can beat anybody but the Panthers in the future games,
Or
right?
the
Like you do this
Titans.
against the Colts, you're gonna lose that. It shouldn't
Yeah,
have beat the
right.
Titans. They
Yeah,
only
you
beat the
do that.
Titans because of Will Levis.
You do that to
But
Houston
Williams,
next
for all
week.
that he
Yeah.
stunk, he wasn't reckless with the ball. He didn't panic and start trying to force feed guys and throw picks and strip sacks, and he wasn't good. But you know what? It was the complementary football that they want to play that I basically have no interest in long term. But it's the Bearsiest of Bears games, and it worked today because the other QB let it work.
Yep.
Do you think they can beat anybody else but the Panthers with this
No,
offense
no,
performance? I don't even know
no.
that they can beat the Panthers.
If
But he didn't turn it over, and he was better as the game went on a little bit. My God, if they just played 8 quarters, our offense would have broken through with a touchdown. You know,
right, right. Well,
it seems like such a low bar. My gosh.
if Levis takes the sack there, do the Bears win? Instead of that, was he trying to just throw it out of bounds? I guess. But if he just takes the sack there and they punt it back, do you trust the offense to come back and score today? What we
They've
saw?
kept settling for field goals, and maybe his thinking was if they get a field goal, then we're down 19-17. But that was what I was saying earlier. Like the sack actually is much better than even generic
That
incomplete
right.
because it'll run the clock more, and there's like 6 minutes to go or whatever.
That's right. That's what
Um,
I'm saying. I
but
don't even know if
and then like, do we feel any better about this whole thing if Keenan Allen catches that pass in the end zone?
a little bit,
What
but
if
not
Bayless
much.
doesn't miff the kickoff?
Oh my
Cousin Nate,
gosh, cousin Nate,
cousin Nate,
cousin Nate.
live from Jamaica, which is hilarious,
I'm on.
was texting us about the guy that he was at the sports bar that was just a random Bears fan, not anyone he knew, and like how much he was losing his mind. And I feel like that guy was like my avatar for the first half.
Island
Got to get
Mark.
him on the pod. No, but he also just sent a tweet about how different the Bears game probably looks if Kean touches that touchdown and Valus doesn't muff the kick.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Of course,
true.
that's the three of the Titans' points are the Valus fumble,
Hmm.
and then they give Valus a screen in the fourth quarter.
He's got to be gone. They got to cut him. They've got to cut him.
So on what did we learn? I guess we'll throw this in here. Where are you at on the coaches after this? Where are you at with Flus? Do we care? Is it
Irritated.
week one weirdness? I'm still really worried about him in the
Yep,
strategy of the game.
right. I am too because
And whose idea is it to run Valus on a screen in the fourth quarter after that
hmm
fumble?
well, Shane's, I guess. But
I
we
guess.
we saw this
Very,
week
very
one.
disappointing first game for Shane Waldron. Let's not
Hmm.
pretend otherwise. if some of this has to be him too.
Yep.
There are a
And
couple
with
plays where the receivers stop being in the same basic area. It's like, guys, we can't run routes that end in the same spot and be a professional offense.
yep.
You just can't do it. You just can't have it.
With Flus, we saw this last year too. Week 1, not ready, and then the
Hmm.
last week of the season against Green Bay again, they didn't look ready again for that one. So yeah, I'm absolutely concerned about Eberle. He's going to have to do a lot to prove that he's not who we're afraid he is. I guess.
Yeah, we're back. We're two, reasons for concern now, right? The last part of my little
Like
structure here.
you feared if we
I
got into
think
bad, we'd stick on
he'll
bad, and that's what
good.
happened.
Yeah, oh, that's why I put it last.
Uh-huh.
He's a good defensive play caller.
He
He's
is.
a good, solid person who's like not a jerk. And a lot of the coaches that lose locker rooms are, and he's got them playing hard. The fact that they didn't give up is awesome, and
Yeah.
that should reflect somewhat on him. But
To be fair.
the disjointedness of the offense, the having to just trust the other guy to it. This is all the process stuff that I hate about keeping him. I'm like, man, I still wanted to. Can we please pair Caleb with an elite play caller?
Yeah, and interesting to
I thought
see.
Shane Waldron would be better. Hopefully, he'll be better with lesser defensive tackle issue. I mean, pressure in your face all game is going to make every O look bad. So I'm,
We
I'm willing to give Waldron time too, but it's causes for concern.
for sure.
That box right now is checked, and the check mark is bright neon on the coaching, on the
Yeah.
offensive side of the ball, and with the head coach not really knowing what to do on that side of the ball. Great job, defense. This is totally unsustainable.
If there's if we can put most of it on the fact that the O line was just a mess today, maybe things look a little better. But how you got to know that your O line's going to be a problem, though. You got to be able to scheme around that, I guess. And
I'm surprised they didn't
yeah.
do any boots much, really. I
No
mean, it was mostly
bootlegs,
like Caleb just kind
no.
of did it. Caleb did it like because the play broke down, he'd get out of the pocket, but a bootleg is
Right,
designed.
right, exactly. I yeah, didn't see any of that. Also, did you see a couple times Caleb was like waving his hand, like, "Come on, come on, come on, let's get the play in, come on."
That's what I was saying about where they were he was getting in a rhythm and he was getting mad that
Oh,
it was
okay,
taking too long. Yep, absolutely. So, last thing I have for now, we'll be back Friday. Well, actually, I don't know when we're gonna be back. I won't be around Friday.
okay.
I don't know. We'll have to figure. It might have to be Wednesday this week.
You going to
Anyway, my
Egypt?
parents come into town.
Oh,
My
fun,
parents come into town Thursday, so I
nice.
don't want to take time away from them.
Mama and Papa
So the
Janji.
the last thing I was gonna say is I loved everything Caleb had to say afterwards, so that's great.
Okay, I have not seen that. I will check it out. Listeners, you should too.
Basically, not the game he wanted to have, not the game the offense wanted to have. It was great that the defense, the special teams had their back, and a lot of it was like the kind of cliched stuff you would hope he'd say, but he seemed, I don't know, pretty mature about it and not just um, given like the whole, shut up, we won, quit asking, leave me alone. Like he was like introspective and honest about it, even if some of it
Yeah,
was cliched. You were like, you felt like it was genuine.
mm, yeah. Can we? How confident are you in saying that this is the bottom, and it's only going to go up from here? Long
Not
pause.
confident.
Oh no.
Probably not very confident.
Well, great.
Here's
Then
the
there goes my
problem. Here's the
confidence.
problem. For the offense or the team,
I
this
guess I
might be the
meant.
bottom, rock bottom for the offense, but they didn't even turn it over other than Valus. Like they just looked so futile and incapable of moving the ball. I'm just so tired of the Bears not still knowing what the forward pass is. We have three supposedly good receivers and the number one QB pick in the draft and a new coach calling plays there, and we still don't know what the forward pass is. I know those guys killed our O line, but shouldn't we be able to do something to like mitigate that at least occasionally? We had no answer the whole game. He had 93 yards.
Yeah, if
He
the.
took a 19-yard sack.
Oh.
He looked like a
Yeah,
rookie more than I thought he would. Are the
yeah.
Bears going to win another game with that performance? No, they're not. Is it going to be the worst performance of the year? I sure hope so.
That's what I'm asking.
But rock bottom on the offense, maybe. Is that the best defense they're gonna play? Uh, for
Well, it's pretty
now.
good the second half.
Texans is pretty good.
Oh, Texans will
Texans
destroy
defense is pretty
us
good.
if we play like this against
Yeah,
Houston.
so rock bottom as like a whole team effort. No, we'll get worse next week
Oh,
if
great.
this
Okay.
is the offense we have.
Well, but I
There's no
don't.
way the defense can do that twice to the Texans if the offense can't help out a little bit, right?
Right. I don't mind if the
Still
Bears
need
get.
more help.
I don't mind if they get beat by a better team. I
Yeah, it's
really
fine.
don't. But
And they're
there's.
they're gonna lose to Houston,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. Hey, can I give you three things that drove me nuts? Yar.
Sure.
Okay. All right. And give me your reaction. The three things that just made me pull my hair out. Number one, the Velas fumble. Number two, giving up
Crazy.
3rd and 15.
That was terrible too.
That was infuriating. And then number three, Keenan Allen dropping the
That looked like a
touchdown.
zone where Ridley's like, ha, 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 well, I don't know why they're not next to me, but hurry up and throw it.
Mm-hmm.
That made no sense.
Yep.
Yep. Go ahead.
And then Keenan Allen dropping the touchdown. Those are the three things
Yep.
that just absolutely made me want to pull my hair out and throw things across the room. And I'm glad I had a rehearsal to escape to for a while after those three things. I'm not worried
Shout
about
out to
Keenan Allen
my
dropping the.
kiddo.
Oh, you hear it, kiddo?
Yeah.
All right, we
No,
should
my
wrap it up.
kiddo watched the game with me, never losing faith the whole way.
Oh, good for her.
As her father is like, they're toast. What are they doing? She's like, it's only 17, Daddy. That's like
It's,
not much. It's like two touchdowns and something else or whatever. It's
yeah,
just not enough about the
yeah.
game to really talk about it. But
Poor
she's
sweet
not losing
child.
faith.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. I have a tweet that sums up the whole thing
Okay.
from Patrick Finley. Caleb, let me gotta finish the whole tweet, okay? Caleb Williams' 55.7 passer rating is the 11th worst debut among all QBs picked first overall since 1970. The list of performances worse than his includes John Elway
Okay.
with a 0 in his debut. Terry Bradshaw, I'm not going to read the rest of them, their rating, but Terry Bradshaw, Matthew Stafford, Troy Aikman, and Eli Manning.
Okay.
At least we're in good company overall.
Well, yeah,
It's gonna be okay. It's probably gonna take him a month to calibrate
that's good for perspective. Absolutely. I'm glad you read that because four
or
of those
half
guys
a
are in the
season
Hall
or
of
however
Fame.
long it takes.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And we were wrong to think he'd come out and be good, but
Yeah.
tip your cap to the Titans D line that made his life miserable.
Yeah. And that's his first. Another thing. A lot of the throws he just
And
missed.
another thing.
And another thing. He overthrew guys, and I would much rather see that than underthrowing, obviously. But it was
Unless it's
consistently,
middle of the field.
but it was consistently
He also
overthrowing.
missed
So,
Allen on that. There are two potential touchdowns to Allen. One on Allen, one on Caleb.
yeah, yeah, the one
And
down the
then
near
the other
sideline.
thing
Yeah,
was weird is the ball was not coming out as a tight spiral for him much. I
that's
noticed a
a.
lot of wobblers, but there were like no wobblers in the preseason. I think he was jittery
I
and
was gonna
antsy, and
say, yeah,
I don't trust that he wasn't nervous. I think that's just like confident leader isn't gonna say he was nervous.
that suggests anxiety if he's not gripping and like throwing that he normally does. If
Yeah,
he's
or
like,
he just
"Ugh."
has a different meaning of nervous, but most of the world would say that was nerves, and he
Yeah,
thinks
like
it's
maybe he
I was
wasn't.
too amped.
Yeah,
Whatever he calls it, it's nerves,
maybe he
basically.
wasn't scared, but yeah, he was definitely not. No, yeah. All right, that's all I got. The Bears won. Yay! It was ugly,
It
but
just doesn't feel like it, does it? It's so hard to wrap my head around the fact that they won this game.
yeah, like
Another
my
tweet though for you before I go.
okay.
Courtney Cronin covers the Bears very well. One-on-one with Bears CB, Tyreek Stevenson. Quote, we always want to be the spark of the team. We know Caleb coming in was going to have his ups and downs. This might not have been the game he wanted, but we're just his kickstand. We got him, and he got us. Love it.
That is
So
good.
again, whatever else I think of Flus, he
That
did do the culture thing that he was hired to do.
he did. Yep.
I just would we got to have a good play caller. I don't need to see more out of Shane Waldron. One last thing and another thing.
And another.
Week one weirdness, man. Let's be glad we won and move on, and let's be better next week. The Patriots beat the Bengals. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
Like they're like one of the worst teams in the league according to everyone. and they go
Mm-hmm.
out there and they beat the Bengals on the road. You know why? Because the Bengals were all orange. And orange is one of my favorite colors. You cannot wear all orange and be taken seriously as a professional operation.
Yeah.
They have no one but themselves to blame.
They also lost because I picked them to win the AFC this year. That's the other reason they lost.
So next year, let's talk about your NFC pick. I'm going to need you to
Hmm.
bite the bullet for the good of all of us.
Okay. I'm not saying it now, but I'll say it
Yeah,
then.
no, we don't need to say no. Shout out to the Eagles for the win. Glad
Yeah.
Jordan Love is not out for long. In fact, and another thing why this just keeps happening. That's the meme. That's the
So
post game
our
bit.
newest segment.
I like him being out a month is almost perfect because that'll probably be pretty tough to recover from for their course of their season. But they won't be getting a top 5 pick because he was out forever.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad his knee's not completely destroyed because I
Yeah.
hate seeing that.
For real.
And he
Yeah.
seems like a good dude.
He really does.
But as a Bears fan, 3 to 4 weeks, like, okay, so they might struggle to make the playoffs, and they're also probably not going to get a crazy high pick. Okay, that's all I'm
Yep.
saying.
And if you even if he didn't get hurt, they still probably lose that game because there were 5 seconds left. But before that, he did not look good.
It's like week one weirdness, also tremendously slippery field.
Oh, that
But
was
I'm telling you,
terrible.
the back throw stuff,
Yep.
it's not always gonna work for you. He's just kind of throwing the ball all over the place, and
Hmm.
sometimes it's brilliant, and sometimes you're like, how do you miss that guy?
It's brilliant when Jaden Reed's wide open down the sideline.
That's a good player, though. So, all right,
All
take
right,
us out of here before I think of something else
all
before I
right. The Bears are
get in
1 and
trouble with the
0. We'll
family.
take it. We'll wrap it up, put a bow on it, and be grateful that they won their first game. Caleb won his first game. The Caleb Williams era is undefeated after 1 week. Thanks for listening. We'll check in this week previewing the Texans game. And check us out on the socials. Tell your friends to listen. Give us a rating on whatever platform you listen to. We'd appreciate it. Talk to you next time. Bear down, everybody.
The Bears. The Bears. I love the Bears.